Welcome to Grandma's Tales audiobook. Today we have a beautiful bedtime story for toddlers, filled with gentle magic and very quiet adventures. Are you snuggled up comfortably in your bed? Good. Have you ever looked at a perfectly woven, soft winter blanket and wondered where all those delicate threads came from? Today, we will discover a secret woven into the very fabric of the stars. This story will lead us to a quiet kingdom filled with the scent of sweet clover, where the gentle hum of a spinning wheel sounds just like a lullaby. It is a place where sleep comes easily and dreams are wrapped in golden thread. Let's take a deep breath together. In and out. Our story begins a long time ago in a peaceful village nestled between two rolling emerald green hills. The air here always smelled of fresh rain and blooming honeysuckle. In a small cottage with a roof made of soft, dry thatch lived a kind mother and her daughter, Lily. Now, Lily's mother was the finest weaver in the entire valley. Her hands moved like swift, elegant birds over her wooden loom, turning raw, fluffy flax into linen as smooth as a quiet lake. But Lily was different. Lily did not like the endless, repetitive work of spinning. Instead of sitting at the heavy wooden wheel, Lily preferred to sit by the open window. She loved to watch the slow, drifting clouds paint shadows on the grass. She loved to listen to the whispering wind and sing long, beautiful, slow melodies to the birds that rested on her windowsill. Her mother never raised her voice, but she would sometimes sigh a soft, gentle sigh. "Oh, my sweet Lily," she would say, smiling kindly. "The world is full of dreams, but winter is always cold. One must learn to spin to stay warm." To help her daughter find patience, the mother gave Lily a special, deeply polished keepsake. It was a beautiful, smooth bobbin made from ancient cherry wood. It was small enough to fit perfectly in the palm of Lily's hand. "Keep this with you," her mother whispered, pressing the warm wood into Lily's fingers. "Whenever you feel restless, or whenever the world seems too big, just hold this bobbin. Feel how smooth and calm it is. Let it remind you of the quiet strength of our home." Lily held the cherrywood bobbin tightly, feeling a deep, comforting warmth spread through her chest. One completely silent afternoon, the Queen of the Realm was taking a slow, peaceful carriage ride through the village. The Queen was a very kind and elegant lady, dressed in a gown of shimmering silver velvet. As her carriage rolled softly over the dirt path, she heard a sound that made her signal the driver to stop. It was Lily, sitting by the window, singing a melody so sweet and slow that even the leaves on the trees seemed to stop rustling to listen. But Lily, lost in her dreams, was crying softly, just a few gentle tears of emotion, because her song was so incredibly beautiful. The Queen stepped out of her carriage and walked to the cottage door. "Good woman," the Queen said in a voice as soft as falling snow, "why is your daughter weeping while singing such a magnificent song? Is she unhappy?" The mother, feeling a little flustered but wanting to protect her daydreaming daughter, offered a gentle, harmless fib. "Oh, Your Majesty," the mother smiled warmly, "my daughter loves spinning more than anything in the world. She weaves so much that I had to take her spinning wheel away so she would finally rest. She is weeping only because she misses the soft hum of the wheel." The Queen's eyes sparkled with delight. "Is that true?" she asked. "I love the sound of the spinning wheel above all things. I am never happier than when I hear the wheels humming. Let me take your wonderful daughter with me to the Silver Castle. I have more flax than anyone could ever spin, and she may spin there to her heart's content." And so, Lily kissed her mother goodbye, slipped her smooth cherry wood bobbin safely into her apron pocket, and rode with the kind Queen to the magnificent Silver Castle. The journey was slow and incredibly comfortable. The carriage rocked gently, like a wooden cradle, lulling Lily into a deep state of relaxation. When they arrived, the Queen led Lily up a wide, sweeping staircase covered in a thick, dark blue carpet that completely swallowed the sound of their footsteps. She opened a heavy oak door and showed Lily into 3 enormous rooms. The rooms were breathtaking. From the polished wooden floor to the high painted ceiling, they were filled with the finest, softest flax in the kingdom. The flax looked like mountains of golden clouds. The rooms smelled wonderfully of dried sunshine, sweet summer grass, and old wood. "Here is your paradise, my dear," the Queen said gently. "If you can spin all this flax into thread, you shall marry my eldest son, Prince Leo. He is as kind and gentle as a summer breeze, and he would love a wife with such dedication." The Queen smiled softly. "You have until the moon becomes completely full and round. That is exactly 3 nights from now. Take your time, rest when you need to, and enjoy the quiet hum." With a graceful nod, the Queen closed the heavy door, leaving Lily in the vast, fragrant silence. Lily stood alone in the first room. She looked at the mountains of golden flax. She knew she could not spin even a single basket of it, let alone 3 entire rooms before the moon was full. The clock was ticking, softly but steadily. She reached into her pocket and held the smooth cherrywood bobbin. She closed her eyes and rubbed her thumb over the polished wood. She took a slow, deep breath in and let it out. The warmth of the bobbin reminded her of her mother's smile. It helped her racing heart slow down to a steady, calm rhythm. "Everything will be all right," she whispered to herself. She walked over to the large window and looked out at the castle gardens. The sun was setting, painting the sky in deep, sleepy shades of lavender and rose. Suddenly, she heard a very soft, polite tapping sound coming from below the window ledge. Lily looked down and saw 3 older women standing in the twilight. They looked incredibly kind, like 3 gentle grandmothers. But they had very unusual, fascinating features. The first woman had a very broad, wide, and remarkably flat right foot. The second woman had a large, soft, drooping lower lip that rested gently on her chin. The third woman had a right thumb that was exceptionally large, strong, and wide. They did not look scary at all. They looked wise, ancient, and deeply comforting. The first woman with the wide foot smiled, her eyes crinkling at the corners. "Good evening, sweet girl," she said, in a voice that sounded like a quiet, bubbling brook. "We can see that you are troubled by the mountains of Flax. Would you like some help?" Lily leaned out the window. "Oh, yes, please," she whispered, "but I have nothing to give you in return." The second woman, the one with the soft, drooping lip, chuckled gently. "We do not want gold or jewels, little one," she said. "We only ask for one simple promise. When you marry the prince, you must invite us to the wedding feast. You must not be ashamed of us, but call us your aunts and let us sit at the high table with you." Lily felt a wave of immense relief and joy wash over her. "I promise," she said warmly. "I will gladly call you my aunts and treat you with the greatest respect." The 3 women nodded. Without making a single sound, they stepped through the heavy oak door and into the room of golden flax. The moonlight filtered through the window, casting long, soft silver shadows across the floor. The 3 magical aunts immediately went to work, and it was the most mesmerizing, peaceful sight Lily had ever seen. They moved with a slow, perfect rhythm that was deeply relaxing to watch. The first woman sat at the spinning wheel. She used her broad, wide foot to press the wooden treadle. Tap, shh, tap, shh. The wheel began to turn with a soft, steady hum. It was a low, comforting vibration that filled the room like a purring cat. The second woman took the raw, golden flax. She used her soft, large lip to moisten the fibers, smoothing them out perfectly. Shh, glide, shh, glide. Her movements were incredibly gentle, turning the fluffy clouds of flax into a perfect, continuous line. The third woman used her large, strong thumb to twist the thread, pressing it firmly against the wooden spindle. Twist. Twist. Every time she pressed her thumb, a spool of the finest, most perfect linen thread dropped into the basket with a soft, satisfying thud. Tap, shh, glide, twist. The rhythm of the 3 spinners was hypnotic. It was the most relaxing music Lily had ever heard. She sat in a soft velvet armchair in the corner, holding her warm cherry wood bobbin. She watched the golden flax slowly transform into beautiful shimmering silver thread under the moonlight. The sound of the wheel wrapped around Lily like a heavy, warm blanket. Her eyelids began to feel heavy. The rhythmic tapping and humming slowly lulled her into a deep, dreamless, and incredibly safe sleep. When Lily woke up, the morning sun was spilling warm, golden light across the floor. The first room was completely empty of raw flax. Instead, it was filled with neat, perfectly organized stacks of the softest, most beautiful spun thread in the world. On the second night, as the moon grew rounder and brighter in the sky, the 3 aunts returned. Again they sat by the wheels. Tap, shh, glide, twist. The deeply comforting sounds filled the second room. Lily held her bobbin, listened to the lullaby of the spinning wheels, and slept peacefully through the night. Finally, it was the 3rd night. The moon was completely full, hanging in the sky like a giant glowing pearl. The 3 gentle aunts worked through the final room of flax. By the time the first light of dawn painted the sky in soft pinks and blues, the task was completely finished. The 3rd aunt, the one with the strong thumb, patted Lily's head gently. "Remember your promise, sweet girl," she whispered softly. "Do not forget your 3 aunts." And with a warm smile, the 3 wise women quietly slipped away into the morning mist. A few hours later, the Queen and Prince Leo arrived to check on Lily's progress. When they opened the heavy oak doors, they were absolutely amazed. The rooms were empty of raw flax and filled entirely with perfect shimmering thread. Prince Leo looked at Lily. He saw her gentle eyes and her kind smile. He did not care about the thread at all. He simply saw a girl with a beautiful, peaceful heart. "You have done a magnificent job," the prince said softly. "But you look tired. You shall rest now, and we shall be married in the royal gardens." But the wise queen knew that Lily was still very young, and so many quiet, gentle years passed. Lily lived safely in the silver castle, growing into a beautiful, graceful young woman. When she finally came of age, the castle was filled with a warm, joyful energy as preparations for the wedding began. When they asked Lily who she wanted to invite, she immediately spoke up. "I have 3 wonderful older aunts," she said clearly. "They have been very good to me, and I cannot forget them in my happiness. Please, allow them to come and sit at our table." The Queen and the Prince gladly agreed. On the day of the wedding, the gardens were decorated with thousands of white roses. The air smelled of sweet honey and fresh leaves. Just as the feast was about to begin, the 3 women arrived, dressed in beautiful, simple gowns of deep forest green. Lily stood up immediately. She walked over to them and hugged them warmly. "Welcome, my dear aunts," she said happily. She guided them to the highest table, right next to the prince, making sure they had the softest velvet chairs and the best plates of sweet berries. Prince Leo, who was a very observant and caring young man, looked at the three women. He noticed their very unusual features. He leaned over to the first aunt. "Excuse me, kind lady," he asked politely. "How did you get such a broad, wide foot?" The first aunt smiled warmly and patted her foot. "From treading, Your Highness," she answered proudly. "From pressing the pedal of the spinning wheel for many, many years." The prince nodded thoughtfully. He then looked at the second aunt. "And how, kind lady, did you get such a soft, falling lip?" "From licking, Your Highness," the second aunt replied with a gentle laugh. "From moistening the flax to make the thread perfectly smooth for many, many years." Finally, the prince turned to the third aunt. "And how did you get such a wonderfully large and strong thumb?" he asked softly. "From twisting, Your Highness," the third aunt said, holding up her thumb. "From twisting the heavy thread upon the spindle for many, many years." Prince Leo sat back in his chair. He looked at the three aunts, and then he looked at his beautiful bride, Lily. He realized how much hard physical work spinning required, and how it could change a person over time. He loved Lily very much, and he wanted her to remain healthy and completely relaxed. The prince stood up and took Lily's hand in his. "My beautiful wife," he said in a clear, warm voice. "From this day forward, you shall never touch a spinning wheel again. You have done enough. Your days will be filled with walks in the garden, singing to the birds, and resting whenever you please." Lily's heart filled with immense joy. She squeezed her smooth cherrywood bobbin in her pocket one last time, knowing she would never need to worry about mountains of flax again. She had kept her promise to the three wise aunts, treating them with love and respect. In return, she received a life of absolute peace. It shows that when we honor those who help us and treat everyone like family, the world rewards us with a very gentle, very comfortable ending. And so, Lily and the kind Prince Leo lived happily in the quiet silver castle. The three aunts visited often, bringing stories and laughter, and Lily spent her days watching the clouds and singing her slow, beautiful melodies into the calm summer breeze. The end. Good night, my darlings. Sleep tight, rest your little heads, and have the most beautiful, magical dreams. For more deeply relaxing audiobooks for preschoolers or 3-year-olds, stay right here on our channel, Grandma's Tales Audiobook. We have so many more wonderful adventures waiting just for you.